Hello everyone, I am Amanda Shoemake and I am your professor for this semester. This video is going to be a brief introduction of the course and of the trajectory of the course. I will go over the policies and expectations as well as kind of give you a general idea of the topic, right? Um, Obviously, remember that things are kind of still up in the air in terms of instruction and modality. Um, I think that we just have to be willing to adjust things and move things around as necessary. First, a little bit about myself. I am actually originally from Carrollton. I went to Central High School down the road, class of '07. I attended the University of West Georgia for both my undergraduate and graduate degrees through the English department. I'm traditionally a first year writing instructor. I'm actually currently in another graduate program. I'm getting another master's degree that focuses on writing and digital communication through Agnes Scott College, which is a local college out of Decatur. I'm married. I have three tuxedo cats, no children, although I would argue that these cats are my children. They're probably going to make an appearance at some point. They assume if I'm talking, it is to them. And so don't be surprised if you see little furry friends in the background at some point of a video. I've only ever wanted to be a teacher, and so I'm excited to do the thing that I love every day. First note, you can find the syllabus in CourseDen through the syllabus tab on the nav bar. This will take you to Concourse. The schedule is actually going to be posted separately in the content section. I'm doing that because the schedule is going to change, whereas the syllabus is not going to change. And so it's much easier for me to adjust the syllabus as necessary, I'm sorry, the schedule as necessary if it's in a separate table in the content section. The syllabus is kind of a boring read, but it is important to pay attention to some of the class and university policies, especially for some of the bigger questions that you may have. Let's note my office hours. So office hours are dedicated out of class times that are set aside for our students. They are there for your questions and concerns. This semester, all of my office hours are going to be virtual. If so, every Tuesday and Thursday between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., I will have a standing Google Meet room open for you to drop in. I'm also available via my campus email address, amandas@wesca.edu, which is available in the syllabus, and by appointment. I'm usually pretty flexible, and I only teach on Mondays and Wednesdays, and so Tuesdays and Thursdays are really only dedicated to you guys, and so it's a way for you to reach out and for us to meet. Try not to use the internal CourseDen email. I don't check that one as often. So use your Gmail account. That comes directly to my phone. And I typically, if it's within a reasonable time, so like before 8 o'clock at night, I tend to answer it. So this class is a 2 credit hour course, which means that it is for credit, but it is not as heavily concerned with things like research papers or quizzes or exams as maybe some of your 3 credit hour courses are. Instead, the biggest things that we're going to focus on are attendance and participation. Those things are kind of together because I'm not actually going to require attendance for in-class participation because pandemic. You're also going to have the first year lab, and that is something that is run by Ryan Bronkema, who is the director for first year programs at West Georgia. So any questions about the lab would best be directed to him. You're going to have some responses to readings, and you will have 2 projects. So you're going to have a midterm presentation that is going to focus on a couple of different things, which we'll get to later. And you're also going to have a final project. And those are really kind of the big things that we're working on that you're going to be producing. Mostly, I want this space to help you focus on what it means to be a college student and what that means for you as an individual, and not necessarily what that means for most people. And I also want to make sure that we're still talking about things that are 100% relevant to your life and your experiences outside of the classroom. So this class is about media and bias. So we're going to talk about media and bias. We're going to talk about how media actually works, like who owns the news, for instance. How do we identify slanted rhetoric and audiences and agendas? How are we susceptible to things like fake news and conspiracy theories? What can we do to combat these things? And how can we help others identify them when they come across them, like our parents or grandparents? So, obviously, some of the things that we're going to be talking about may be considered controversial. We aren't going to shy away from that. Your generation knows better than most that life is politics. And so we can't avoid it. We don't have the luxury of saying that we just don't pay attention to politics. That is in itself usually only uttered by people that can afford to look away. And I think that most of us here can't afford to do that. We have to look and we have to examine and read and watch and plug in and stay plugged in, even if it is hard. So I do ask the following of you. First, allow everyone a chance to speak during class discussions. Second, listen respectfully and actively. So don't just passively wait until it's your turn to talk. Actually, listen to what people are saying. Most importantly, perhaps, third, criticize ideas and not individuals. We are going to attack words and statements and what people say. We are not going to attack people, right? Words are hard, and sometimes people just say things. So we have to focus on what we can see and control and what we do know, which is words. Four, commit to learning and not debating, right? So debating is about winning, and this isn't about winning. This is about actually just learning about each other. Try to avoid blame, speculation, and inflammatory language, and also avoid assumptions about others, especially based on any perceived social group that we may see. That's going to be part of the bias section of the course. I think we're going to have a really fun semester, and I'm a pretty chill person. You can ask any of my former students. I would rather spend energy on fun things like learning than on not fun things like being a hard ass, and I don't want to do that. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you all. Look for the Google survey that is going to be sent out later this week. I will see you soon.